Welcome back to another Film Geek movie review. In just a bit, I am headed out the door to check out the new horror comedy, Clown in a Cornfield. Clown in a Cornfield is directed by Eli Craig, and it's starring Katie Douglas, Aaron Abers, and Carson McCormick. This tells the story of a small Midwestern town. It looks like it takes place in Missouri. And this town's got a mascot by the name of Friendo the Clown. Well, it seems that somebody is either really is Friendo the Clown or is emulating Friendo the Clown and is going around killing up the teenage population. That's right, it's a small Midwestern town slasher comedy. And I absolutely love movies like this, as you really know if you follow the channel. The slasher subgenre of horror is one of my all-time favorite, and my all-time favorite genre no matter what is horror comedy. So needless to say, I am super stoked to get out the house and check out Clown in a Cornfield. And of course, I've got to say goodbye to my good old faithful companion Haku. We found out recently that AMC has a no cats policy, so unfortunately he has to stay home. We'll watch this movie once it shows up on Shudder, because this movie is a Shudder original, so be keeping your eyes open for it to pop up sometime here soon. It might, normally they show up after a month or so of them being in theaters. But anyways, guys, it is time for me to get out the door because I hear there's something about a clown in a cornfield. Welcome back, just getting home from Clown in a Cornfield, and guys, I enjoyed this movie. This was a fun little popcorn slasher. So let's get this started, shall we? We're going to get things started with negatives, then move into the positives to end the video on the ever so important high note. Now, if you're looking for a film that's going to turn the entire slasher genre on its ear, bring something new to the table, and change the entire formula, this movie's not for you. This movie is pretty well a by-the-numbers, by-the-book slasher film. Now, the movie does try to bring in some little twists and all, but it's not something we haven't necessarily seen from this movie, from a movie like this before, and in the twist that it does bring into it, again, even the twist itself is nothing that we haven't seen before in a slasher film. But that's okay, because the tropes that they do have in this movie, they do serve a purpose, because this film is, at its core, a horror comedy. Now, let's talk about the frights in this movie, because there's really not that many. There are some jump scares, but at no time did I really feel like this movie was trying to scare me. A lot of the kills in this movie are done for a comic value. There's nothing that's too awful grotesque and brutal. It's very tongue-in-cheek and playful with the way that gore is handled. So if you're somebody that's looking for a downright brutal Art the Clown kind of film, this is not the movie for you. If I had to give this a formula, now I always like to say that for my horror comedies, I like the movies to be a good 50-50 blend of horror and comedy. I want to laugh and walk away scared at the same time. This movie is not like that. This movie is definitely more in the comedy realm. There were some pretty decent moments with, some okay jump scares, but most of the jump scares also were used more, again, for comedic value. Nothing in this film really felt like it was awful scary. And also, our main characters, yes, again, back on the tropes, a lot of our victims in this movie are just kind of your tropey, regular, run-of-the-mill style victims. You have, like, the bitchy girl, the bitchy girl's friend, the cool guy, the jock's best friend, the kind of, normal type of characters that you see in this movie. So yeah, so maybe the film itself doesn't, try to break the mold, doesn't bring a whole lot to the table, but what it does do, it does well. And there's one more thing that I'm going to throw in real quick in the negatives, and that's just because it confused the hell out of me. There is one character in this film that I do not understand. I don't know what happened to him, okay? I lost track of the character. We don't know what their fate is, and they were a fairly important character to the story of the movie, and it just kind of seemed like, where'd they go? Where'd they go? They just kind of vanished. They did their thing and they took off, and you're like, okay, so how did that all turn out? So there is some unanswered questions, and who knows, maybe there was an after credit scene that I didn't stick around for that answered the question on what happened there. But yeah, it really left kind of one of those like, okay, what's up with that kind of moments for me. Now, it's not terrible. None of the things that I'm talking about in the negatives of this film is something that I think is going to ruin it for you. All I'm trying to say is, if you're a person who is not a fan of this genre, who doesn't like slashers, who doesn't like a bunch of violent kills and stuff like that in their movies, you're probably not going to enjoy this movie. This is definitely a horror fan's movie. I don't think this is something that they made to try to bring in new fans to horror. Now, because it's so low in the scare department, I do think that this is one of those movies that if your partner or friend or whomever that you take to go see this movie with you, maybe if they're not a massive fan of horror films, this one's kind of light, so it's not going to do a lot of damage to them at all. You can at least bring them into the stuff that you love and not scare the ever-living shit out of them, is what I'm trying to say. The actual story of this movie was pretty good. Unfortunately, did I mention I'm in positives? I guess I should move into the positives, shouldn't I? I should say that more often. We're in the positives. The story in this film, while yes, it doesn't bring anything new to the table, I thought the film itself did a really good job of exploring certain ideas. Now, they just kind of scratches the subject on some generational type differences and small town drama and all. It focuses on things like what happens when a main source of income for an entire town just suddenly vanishes. Now, while it does bring those topics to the table, it doesn't necessarily bring it to the forefront. The fun is actually what this movie is trying to do. So let's talk about those kills. Now, there are many different kills in this movie, ranging from just your normal stabbed in the gut to someone getting a hand blown off. So there's all sorts of really cool, well done practical effects and really well thought out kills. Yes, there are some that are just kind of run of the mill, but then there's some others that I felt like might have been a shout out to other slasher films, or maybe we're just getting to the point where we're running out of ways to kill people in movies that seems funny and interesting. But it still does a really good job of delivering the kills, delivering the violence, and those practical effects in this film look very, very good. The makeup is definitely on point. The acting in this film is very fun. I wouldn't say that it's something that's going to win anybody awards, but it definitely fits this type of film, and it really helps with the campiness and the silliness that happens on the screen. The actors knew exactly what kind of film that they were starring in, and they all knew their part and did an excellent job just putting out a fun film. At the end of the day, guys, that's what this movie is here for. It is here to entertain you. It's not supposed to do anything other than that. Just something that you can go, spend your money on, eat a bunch of popcorn, and enjoy it. Now, if you're somebody who is really into the slasher genre, who likes to see some really well done kills up on the big screen, I would say get out there and support this film in theaters. If you're someone who just thinks the genre's okay and all, this is going to be coming to Shudder eventually, so maybe just wait for it to come to streaming. So basically, guys, if you're a big fan of the genre of slashers, of horror comedies, there's a lot here that you're going to enjoy because it is just, at its core, a really good time. I liked the way that this film brought up the hierarchy and all of just small towns in the Midwest. Did a great job of this being a nice southern, I think it's southeast Missouri was where this took place. Now, there is corn in southeast Missouri, but you know what? Here's a fun fact about the state of Missouri. Our number one crop in Missouri is not corn. It's actually soybeans. How about that? Now, farmers like to use the corn in order to keep the soil nutritious for the soybeans, so that's why we do have corn in this area. So there's a little bit of a fun fact for you that you may not have known about Missouri. So anyways, guys, yes, this is a solid, fun slasher film that goes back to the basics of the 80s and 90s horror, and you just have a really good time sitting there in the theater watching this movie with your friends. This is definitely a group get-together horror movie. There was a lot of people around us that were having just as good a time as we were. A lot of ohs, oh man, and laughter could be heard throughout this theater. So yes, if you're a fan of the slasher genre, get out there, support this movie in theaters. If you think the genre is just okay, wait for it on streaming. But what I'm trying to say at the end of the day is support this film, because right now we're kind of in this new golden age of slasher films, and so let's keep this ball rolling, alright? So thanks again for checking out the Film Geek. If you liked what you saw here today, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, and give me the old thumbs up so I know you like what you're seeing. And if there's one more thing you can do, folks, that is keep watching movies You know I'm gonna. And if you know what happened to the dude that I'm talking about in this movie, please tell me. Please tell me what happened. I didn't see it. Anyways, guys, thanks again.